What's up, party people? My name is Sunny Ray. This is the Sunny Ray Show. I believe it's our third interview today. I've got a really interesting gentleman. His name is Doug C. Brown. He is the EBITDA Multiplier. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Doug, I probably should bring you on sooner rather than later. So how are you doing? Where are you calling in from? And why do people call you the EBITDA Multiplier?
Yeah, so Sunny, thanks for having me on here. I really appreciate it. The people call me, it's the EBITDA multiplier. Like a lot of people use
EBITDA.
but I've heard of people from different countries say EBITDA, depending on, like, that's more your Italian saying, I think. When it's like that.
What does it stand for? What does it stand for? I guess more importantly.
So EBITDA in a company is essentially the operating profit of a company. So it's, what we sell minus cost of goods and what we have to work with at that point. And the reason that we focus on that, Sunny, is because the valuation of companies are generally figured on EBITDA. So when somebody looks at a company and they say, hey, I want to sell my company, they'll usually look at an EBITDA line first and then start getting valuations based on what kind of multiple do we want to offer for this company based on what their EBITDA is.
Hey, Doug, why do so few founders understand EBITDA?
Well, we're not taught this in school, right? I mean, growing up, and most people who start a business, they essentially are technicians in the business that they start. So, let's say they're, something everybody would understand, a plumbing business, or, HVAC, heating and air conditioning business. They're really, really good, skilled people at that. They might have been working for something else, a different company or something. Maybe they worked in telecommunications and were just like tired of the company that they were working for. And they're like, I can do this better myself. And they're really good at that technical part of what they do. Maybe they're a software engineer and they say, I can start my own software company. So they get out of that and then get into business. So they might understand the business that they're in, but what they don't understand and what most people are never taught is the business of growing a business. And that's where EBITDA comes in. And so when people don't understand how the business of growing the business, they don't understand that process. They tend to build the business on themselves or on their back. And then they have a founder dependency business, which will in turn lower the valuation of what somebody will offer for the company. And because if you remove the founder, then you really, what else exists in the business?
E-Myth?
Oh, Michael Gerber?
Was that where I read that? Where that was made famous, or am I missing?
Yeah, E-Myth was probably the origination of that. It's interesting. We actually coached that company. So
no way.
Yeah. So
cool.
So yeah, at one time I was the president of sales and training for a man named Tony Robbins and a man named Chet Holmes, who owned a company, and E-Myth was one of our clients.
Did you just say a man named Tony Robbins, or like the man? Like, are we talking the Tony Robbins? Like,
yeah. It's not Vito Robbins, right? It's the tall guy with the men's body size and big teeth.
Yeah.
That
larger than
gentleman.
Life. I've yet to attend one of his seminars, but I know that Personal Power 2 might have been the first, the first one I picked up. I remember in university, changed my life. So, hey, Doug, let's dive into the deep end. You've driven over $1 billion in sales. What's the biggest lesson from that journey?
Well, business basically works this way: money in, money out equals something. So that's a simple formula, right? Money in plus money out equals something. And the lesson I've learned is you always have to have the money coming in. And the focus should be on the money coming in plus the money going out. But depending on the stage of your business, that percentage kind of adjusts and changes a little bit. Like in the beginning, up to your first $1 million, everything should be focused on making sales. everything. And once we start getting some numbers in the business where we can start to look at all the margins and the ratios, then from there, we started adjusting that. I mean, you always want to look at the money out too. I mean, selling $1 million and spending $3 million to sell $1 million, you won't be in business for a long period of time. But some people have run that model and then eventually sold their company. But, Amazon, think of Amazon. Amazon ran famously in the negative column for a lot of years. So there is a thing for it. But yeah, so what I learned is, here's the thing, everyone is in sales. And if they're not in your company and they're not recognizing this, we must have everybody in our companies understand that no matter what position they're in, they are actually selling to the client on building trust and keeping the client there, or the client's going to go away. It's that simple.
Well, well said. I've dedicated the better part of my career to sales, and I find it just so weird that it's such an important part of business in the world, yet another one of those things that's not taught in school. You think that that would be the first thing. So, what do you mean by undocumented EBITDA? EBITDA, I gotta say that right.
Oh,
and where is it usually hiding?
Oh yeah, so it's documented, not undocumented. So we've actually documented it. So and where's it usually hiding?
No, I meant do you find EBITDA that's undocumented when you're talking to companies? Meaning, do they just not know about it even existing, type of thing? Is that part of what you help them with, is identifying where those losses are and how their business is even operating? Can you just double click on the whole idea?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I will tell the listeners, I've looked in one shape or form, in group format or whatever, I've looked at over 30,000 businesses, and I have not to date ever found one that didn't have either hidden revenue sitting there or hidden margin sitting in their business, hidden profits.
Got it.
And those are usually falling in different places in the company, many times in what we would call the gap zones. The gap zones are the handoffs between company departments. For example, marketing sells something, gets a lead, passes it along the sales team. The sales team sits on it for 5 days. They don't call the lead. By the time they call the lead's cold. And so, or it's gone to a competitor or something like that. So if we just shorten up that gap space, right? Marketing produces the lead, call goes out within 5 minutes. Statistics clearly show the first person who gets to them has the higher percentage of chance of closing that sale. So I've adjusted just 1 or 2 metrics in companies, and all of a sudden their business goes up by 10 to 20%, because sometimes it's only a couple of things in companies. Other times it's across the whole customer journey. It's just a minefield of lost revenue and lost margin throughout the whole process. And sometimes we've been able to literally double the sales, or, I helped one company, for example, go from 48 million to 110 million in 2 years, just by looking across all the gap zones and straightening out their internal gap zones. They had a 82% turnover of their employee base every single year. And they were like, well, what's the problem? I don't understand. It's every time they turn over, it costs you more money to replace them. Plus they take part of your business with them when they're a competitor, right? So it's a myriad of things, Sunny Ray, all over the place.
What's the first thing you look at when you audit a sales team?
The first thing that I look at is what are what I would call the easy things to monetize, right? So where are they dropping the ball on certain things that we know we can go back and actually gain money within the first 30 days into the company? So give you an example. Dormant clients. Those clients that haven't been touched. I'm doing this with a company right now. They're doing about $40 million a year. And we went back to their dormant clients who were 2 to 5 years old. And we have generated now, in our first year, we're on target to do between $2 and $3 million in sales, just on dormant clients. And so think about that. 5%, I mean, literally a 5% lift in revenue in the company. However, zero cost of acquisition because they've already spent the marketing money years and years and years ago to bring the client through. So the EBITDA will go up significantly on that because the majority of it, other than sales commissions, is profit coming into the company minus maybe some of the delivery cost. So it's super high profit stuff. We'll look at that. We'll look at referrals. We'll look at follow-up. We'll look at, there's a bunch of things we look at, but those are like 3 primaries that we will look at immediately to see, because we can monetize those things very quickly.
Got it. Very interesting. Very interesting. So what's the most common mistake founders make that, quietly kills their company's valuation?
Well, that's a wonderful, that's an awesome question. I'll answer it this way. I think the number one mistake that most founders are making that is killing their valuation is they don't have the data to look at, or 2, they have the data, they're not looking at it, or 3, they're looking at it from a different lens than they should be looking at it. And when, say, we look at it from a different visibility. So they have data, but the visibility lens they're looking at is not the visibility lens that, say, a private equity company would look. We're not a private equity company, but a private equity company would look at, or a venture capitalist, or somebody evaluating the actual worth of their company. I'm working with a company right now that they're doing quite well, but it's 100% founder dependency in the business, and 92% of their sales are clustered in 3 salespeople out of 16. And I'm like, we got to solve this if you want to sell your company, because if I'm a smart competitor, I'm going to target your 3 people and I'm going to pull them. And when I pull them, your sales are going to fall by 92%. And anybody coming in to evaluate your company is going to see the same thing. So the valuation would go way down. And if the owner got sick, got hurt, whatever, they pull that out, everything rolls up to the owner. So there's a founder dependency problem there where somebody evaluating the company. So what does that mean? Well, let's say in this case, this company's doing about 8 million a year. In this case, if they would sell at a 8x multiple, and let's say their EBITDA was, let's just make the numbers easy, 10%, right? Which would be low, but 800,000 times 8, you're going to get $6.4 million. But at this juncture, they'll be lucky if they get 5. So if they got 5 at 8, now you're talking $4 million. So you can see there's like $2.4 million swing in the amount of money that they would get just based on those 2 criteria alone.
That's really interesting. How has AI changed the way sales teams, how they should operate today?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how they embrace AI. So some people are still, I find a lot of people are still afraid of AI. They're like thinking, oh, it's going to take my job. It's going to take this. We get, but what AI has done is it's taken a lot of the routine stuff and speed it up so that we can get it done in minutes versus weeks. And so we use it all the time in evaluating a sales team. I can run numbers on a sales team in 2 hours on a major sales team that used to take me a week. And so I can have, real-time numbers, and we go through the numbers. I have one company I'm working with right now. We meet every single morning and we go through and we train and we look at numbers every single day in this company. And so, and then we can cross compare them over a week or 2 weeks or a month, and we can look at trends. And that's where AI has been hugely beneficial. AI also will automate tasks. We can automate, certain follow-up tasks, for example, where the salesperson's dropping the ball today. We can automate that. So we take the human reliability out and we put AI. I mean, AI doesn't sleep. right? So unless we pull the plug on the bandwidth. So there's a lot of different places. I love AI, and I think anybody who wants to grow their company in some capacity must embrace AI, because it's not gonna stop. It's just getting more and more beneficial to companies.
And what should do? What should a founder do in like the first 12 months before going to market to sell?
Okay, so I heard two questions there. I said in the first
No,
12
no.
months,
I didn't mean the first 12 months of the business. I meant, sorry, what should they do in the first 12 months before going to market to sell themselves?
oh,
Yeah.
so here's the thing. Like, so we're talking a startup company, a company that might be
Yeah.
starting up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This one's gospel. So everybody please write this down, not because I'm arrogant, but because I have done this a lot. And this is the biggest mistake that people make. They think they have a great idea and everybody's going to buy it. And so what we should do first is we should be testing, will people buy our offer and actually give us money before we even make it? So it's, software companies famously do this, right? They actually build a prototype of something, and they will do that. Infomercials, all of us are familiar with people on television, infomercials, right? We're selling the ShamWow or whatever the greatest thing is of the day. If you look on an infomercial, it will usually say 68 weeks of time before you'll get the item, shipping time, processing time, right? 6 to 8 weeks. Why do they do that? Because they don't have the product yet. They are actually running the infomercial to make sure that they can sell enough of that in order to go to the manufacturer and then build it. And this is what we should be doing no matter what new idea we have in our company for existing, no matter what we're doing as a startup. Make sure people will pay you for it before you actually build it out. And if you heed this advice, it will save you hundreds of thousands to hundreds of millions of dollars over your career, depending on how big your company gets.
Hey, Doug, with 2 million social media followers, what's your take on personal brand as a sales channel?
So personal brand, and if you're a salesperson, please heed this advice. You've got to have a personal brand today. It's not even, in almost all cases, the more your personal brand is out there, the more people will want to be around you, buy from you. I mean, Sonny, we were talking about the Tony Robbins, right? I mean, the Tony Robbins has opened up so many doors for me just because the Tony Robbins is the Tony Robbins, and people realize, okay, I was there. I was sitting at a board table like I'm at right now, and Tony was right there, and we're talking about business and things like that. So people start to, it's like if you were the governor of a state, companies are going to want to hire you left and right because you were the governor of that state. And that would be part of your personal brand. I mean, in fact, people, say governor, whatever, and they still, they're not even the governor and they still call them the governor, right? So, but on social media, if you're going to brand yourself, again, you want a brand that is actually going to support what you're trying to do. What is the outcome of what you're trying to do? If you're trying to be an influencer online and it's not supporting what you are trying to accomplish, then being the influencer in that sphere doesn't really do you a great deal of business growth. If you're known for like dog training, but you're selling commercial airlines, right? It's the brand is off. So now you can brand yourself as the smart business person who has a dog business and a commercial airline business, and that could work. But so as you're building a brand, be careful. But someone once told me, actually Alan Weiss, who's written about, I don't know how many books now, probably close to 70 books. Alan once told me, he said, Doug, if you don't play your trumpet in the band the loudest, people won't look and see who you are. So That's what a brand really is, you know, a promise delivered, and you got to promote it.
Cool, Doug. Well, thank you so much, man. This is great. I mean, sales is definitely one of my favorite topics, and I feel like not enough people talk about it, not enough people teach about it, you know, not enough people do it. So thank you, Doug, for your time. And with that said, I'm going to bring this stream to an end. Anything else you want to share, Doug?
No, I just wanted to know in the beginning of the stream, was that the CN Tower that I saw in Toronto?
Yes.
That was okay.
Yes.
Love that place.
Me too.
That's
That's
awesome.
where I live. All right, hang on for 1 minute, Doug. I'm going to bring this stream to an end. Thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I'll be back with another episode later today.